How's it going, guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Theme Park Shark. If you are newly subscribed here, we'd just like to send you a big thank you for that. We really appreciate your support and all of the love. And if this so happens to be your first time ever catching a video of the Theme Park Shark, we hope to earn your subscribe and a big thumbs up through the course of this video. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into the topic of today's video. Fantastic Worlds at Universal Orlando is coming. Now, if you guys don't know all about Universal's Fantastic Worlds, this is the tentative name for a brand new dry theme park going in at Universal Studios Orlando. Not on the same plot as the same parks at Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure. It's actually going to be going on a plot of land just south, a few miles south. So a new theme park is definitely on the way. And with a new theme park, obviously comes a lot of speculation to what the rides, shows, restaurants, and shops will look like in this park. We have a lot of rumors for the current lands and worlds that will be present within Universal's Fantastic Worlds, but that's not the point of this video today, and that'll be saved for a future episode of the Theme Park Shark. In today's episode, we are going to focus specifically on one world, and this one world is Pokemon. So if you guys aren't exactly familiar with the layout of Universal's Fantastic Worlds, all current rumors, speculation, anything that you guys want to call it, all of that right now is pointing to what's called a spoke and hub design. So what this means is that Universal Studios is going to have a central hub, almost a main street type of road, similar a la to Disneyland and Disney World's Magic Kingdom. Very, very similar, and also a strong reminder of Universal's City Walk. So let's jump right back to that spoke and hub design and talk about how Universal Studios Florida is currently planning to deliver Universal Studios Fantastic Worlds to current guests. So we're going to have this main street, this main road of land, and this, as of right now, is going to be completely open to the public. This won't need a theme park ticket, and this is where it gets interesting. As of right now, people are claiming that on each stretch of this road, there's going to be either a turnstile or some sort of facial recognition technology that Universal Studios is using at each entryway to each individual world in Fantastic Worlds. So that's very interesting. This is a new way for Universal Studios to go about creating a theme park. So with that established, for the sake of this video, we are going to focus on Nintendo World. Super Nintendo World is a long-standing rumor now for Universal Studios Florida. The reason why I call it a rumor is because the location of Super Nintendo World has changed quite a bit. So one thing that we're going to talk about in this video is just how Pokemon could, or couldn't, I guess, anchor Universal Studios Fantastic Worlds. Now, for those of you guys, I don't know if you've been living under a rock or what it is, that don't know what Pokemon is, it is a cultural phenomenon that started in the 90s with Game Boy Color games and an anime, and it has grown rapidly ever since. It had a little bit of a decline into the early 2000s, and then as of today, it's kind of leveled out, and it's still popular. It's still Pokemon. So with that, there is a question. Can Pokemon anchor its own land, or should it be within the land Super Nintendo World? Some people argue that it doesn't belong inside Super Nintendo World, but what I have argued is that I think it will absolutely be inside Super Nintendo World, because in my opinion, it is a Nintendo property. Nintendo has a majority ownership, from what I understand, of Pokemon, and the way that I described it is, okay, this would be like, let's say that Universal felt that Spider-Man was the most attractive Marvel character and could anchor its own land. There could be a Spider-Man world. You know, we'll be in New York, we'll create the Daily Bugle, we'll do the whole thing, and we'll have Spider-Man World, right? So this was my argument. Let's say the Spider-Man ride was never built. Let's say that Iron Man got his start a little earlier than Spider-Man, and for whatever reason, the Spider-Man attraction Islands of Adventure for this video is now the Iron Man ride. Imagine within Marvel Heroes Superhero Island, we have all these rides. The Iron Man attraction is the flagship attraction, right? Okay, so we're gonna walk down the road now, and instead of walking into Toon Lagoon, we're now gonna walk into Spider-Man World. That's fine, I guess, for continuity's sake, but why did they just jam-pack all of these other Marvel characters into Marvel Superhero Island, and why did they give Spider-Man right next door Spider-Man World? So I thought that was a little strange. I thought that would just look kind of bizarre, just because it's basically the same IP. It's why would you separate the two lands like that? That's never been done. It's never even been thought of, and it just didn't seem like a good idea. But I kept thinking about it. I kept thinking about all of the possibilities that Pokemon would bring. all of the shows, all of the attractions, merchandise, the food that could be had there. Now let's go back into the world of pretend and let's imagine what a Pokemon World at Universal Studios Fantastic Worlds would look like. So to start things off, we have to go to a Pokemon battle. What is more Pokemon than a Pokemon battle? So this is how you do it. You walk into this world, you're immediately engulfed in Pokemon, right? Let's say you have Pokemon animatronics. In the distance, you see a lagoon and there's a Lapras swimming across with his head skimming out of the water. Very easy things for Universal Creative to do and great immersion. Let's say you look to your left and in the bushes, there's a Slowpoke slowly running into the bushes. Let's say you look to your right and you see a Raichu poking out from behind a building. You can add a Pokemart. You can add a Pokecenter. There's so many different things that you can add. But for the attraction, at least for the first show attraction that we're going to talk about, you have to look towards a Pokemon battle. So this is how I imagine Universal Studios going ahead with the first show that will anchor this Pokemon World, and that is a Pokemon battle. So you walk into a gym, very easy, awesome queue, easy to theme. Imagine the theming on this. You could even theme it as if it's a Game Boy or Nintendo DS maze before you get to the gym leader. Imagine how cool that would be. It would literally be identical from the games, how you could go ahead and theme and even make the queue into a game. It would be very cool, and it would be very true to, I guess, not so much the anime, but very true to the games. Now, if you look at the Pokemon anime, it's very common in the major battles, especially the Pokemon League and things like that, for people to be in the stands and watching a Pokemon battle. So this is what I envision. You make your way through the queue, incredible theming, you hear all these awesome sounds and sights, and all these different things are going on within the queue, and then you finally get to the battle arena, and this is when they set you up in your bleachers. Now, Universal Studios used to be the king of practical effects between Twister and Backdraft and Earthquake Ride and all these different things. This is when Universal Studios gets to redeem themselves. Mixing in the classic Musion technology that Universal Studios now seems to love, bringing back the old school practical effects, using wonderful sound design, lighting, and all these different things, you can essentially merge together all of these effects to create a beautiful and stunning Pokemon battle before everyone's eyes. Imagine yourself walking in, sitting on the stands, looking down into the arena, and out comes Ash Ketchum. Let's say he's battling Lance, or who knows exactly who he's battling in the Pokemon League. Maybe even make it Gary, hint hint. And all of a sudden, boom, one of them sends out an Onix and one of them sends out a Pikachu. And right before your eyes, a massive Onix is just skyscraping into the sky in front of you. This can be done with Musion, and it would be awesome to see all of these Pokemon in their actual size. The anime tries to portray the size of Pokemon, but it can't be done truly until it's right in front of you. Something that Universal did very well with the Transformers ride, letting you kind of feel the size of Transformers, and that's something, in my opinion, that they can do with Pokemon, letting you feel the size. Let's say someone or somehow a Mewtwo comes, and all of a sudden you can feel the force of a Mewtwo. You can feel wind blowing. You can feel pressure on the seats. You can just feel the presence of a stronger Pokemon. Maybe your seats are kind of rumbling a little bit. There are so many things that can be done mixing Musion technology with physical effects. Maybe Pikachu sends out a Thunder Shock, and all of a sudden there's like an electric current seen in the back of the show, and then something up top gets zapped by lightning, and then maybe a light falls. There's so many things that can be done. Let's say Blastoise shoots Hydro Pump, and then all of a sudden it's boom, water hits the Pokemon, and then boom, Universal's loved water effects come spraying into the crowd. There's so many things that Universal could do to mix this Musion technology to make a really fun and exciting Pokemon battle come to life. And I hope if Universal Studios actually does decide to go with a Pokemon World, that this is one of the first attractions that we see. The next attraction that is heavily rumored is the Pokemon Snap Ride. Now, this can be a classic dark ride, almost a la Spider-Man, where you enter a ride vehicle and maybe you're given some 3D glasses, maybe some AR glasses if the technology is there after Mario Kart. And this could be a great way for Universal Studios to kind of, maybe they want to go back to the gaming element that they used to have with Men in Black. This could be a good chance for Universal Studios Florida to kind of reintroduce a gaming and interactive element to see who can get the best score, who can snap the best pictures, and just kind of create a fun little dark ride where you're going through. Maybe you see some real animatronics, maybe you see some 3D effects, maybe you see some Musion. This would be a great way to incorporate Pokemon Snap into the park and could make for a really beautiful and picturesque ride if Universal Studios does it correctly. And now for the last e-ticket, we are going to go with Charizard's Flight. I don't know how much I like the name yet, but I know it could be a great way. Maybe it's Ho-Oh's flight. It could be anything, and it is a great way to incorporate all of the beautiful sights and scenery of Pokemon into a flight simulator, similar to what you see at Pandora in Disney World. And this could be the other major e-ticket attraction that's found in Universal Studios Fantastic Worlds, because flight simulators aren't truly really seen at Universal Studios yet. So obviously at Disney we have Soarin' and the Pandora attraction, so this could be a good way for Universal to enter that game. You could get on the top of a Charizard and just kind of fly around and see the sights of Pokemon, and maybe something goes amiss. And we are now joining Ash on a flight journey across the region. Maybe it's Hoenn, maybe it's, who knows, whatever region they end up going with. And we can see the sights, and maybe as a nod back to the original anime, we will see a Ho-Oh in the distance flying and glowing and shining. Could be a cool little touch, but just another idea for an attraction. Let's find a way to up the Pandora attraction. Let's find a way to do that ride even better. Maybe you're on a vehicle that eventually makes its way into the flight simulator, similar to what is being rumored that Disneyland is going to do with Rise of the Resistance. If you guys don't know about that, we will cover all of the current rumors and speculation for Rise of the Resistance in a future episode. So that's going to round out this episode, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this speculation episode. Pokemon World, as much as I was kind of dogging it in the beginning and saying it belongs within Nintendo, I love Pokemon, and I hope it does get its own dedicated world at Fantastic Worlds. And if Universal Studios needs any ideas, I think this could be a wonderful attraction lineup for you guys. So once again, guys, we would just like to extend our sincerest thank you for checking out this video. If you liked it, please go ahead and subscribe, smash that like button, and as always, we will see you guys in a future episode of The Theme Park Shark. We'll see you guys in the next one.